Stage is yours.
You see what I did there? Just with that speech title, it's almost like he's calling me the perfect hero. And that's repeated itself thrice. So mission accomplished with that hoodwink that you were expecting me to bring to the table. But speaking of the perfect hero, how many of you have a conception of what a hero is? Who's your favorite superhero?
Iron Man.
Iron Man, alright. What about yourself?
Superman.
Superman. Both of these heroes take flight, occupy the sky with great majesty and pomp. What about some of the ground quellers? Anyone a Spider-Man fan over here? No? Okay, well, clearly we haven't grown up on Tobey Maguire and his antics in the early Spider-Man movies. What about wrestling? How many of you have watched some era of wrestling? The Hulkamaniacs, put your hands up in the air. Okay, you aged yourself right there, sir. Stone Cold, Steve Austin, and the Rock fans now. Show some love. Alright, there we go. What about the John Cena fanatics over here? The C Nation? No? Alright, one timid hand right there. Perfect. And if you're watching modern day wrestling, then you're into Cody Rhodes. In every genre of entertainment, you have heroes and villains. And you have someone called the perfect hero, the main man or woman of the story. When I was growing up, the hero that completely captured my imagination was one Superman. Why? Because he was unfallible. Literally, a small piece of rock called kryptonite was the only thing that could set him back. Otherwise, literally indestructible. He could literally throw fire from his eyes, take to the skies, the strongest man on planet Earth, speed that matched that of Flash, the fastest man on the planet. But over the years, the Superman craze of fandom died down. Why? Isn't Superman the coolest hero on Earth?
Yeah, he is.
Do you think he is? What about you, Cedric? Do you think he's really cool?
They portray him as the strongest hero in the world, like almost godlike.
Exactly. He's almost godlike. I did not plant that answer, even though it really helps my case. Because Superman is this unfallible superhero, almost godlike, he's not relatable, is he? Because none of us can be Superman. We all have more than just a small piece of rock that we can call our kryptonite. Which is why, as I grew up and I realized that there is no such thing as an unfallible superhero. Someone who can beat all that stands before him or her. I chose a different hero. One which seemed a lot more grounded. One that seemed a lot more relatable. I turned the page and now I was a Spider-Man fan. His story of being this little kid who was bullied around in school, who had all the talents in the world but had everything stacked up against him. Parents unfortunately died at a young age under the care of his grand aunt and uncle. Not the richest family in the corner, doesn't have friends, and that one girl, Mary Jane, seems so out of reach. A story, a character that was so much more relatable. But when this character was down in the dumps, something unexpected happened to him. An opportunity in the way of a bite, a spider bite, gave him these spider powers that all of a sudden changed his life. And there, our superhero had a choice. He could either use these powers for his own benefit, goof around, be the king of the ball, or take on the mantle of Spider-Man. And he chose the latter. Another classic trope in a superhero's life cycle. Down in the dumps, given a golden opportunity, asked to make an important choice. And the choice was made. He was going to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Stop crime, be the harbinger of justice. But was that all to his story? For all of you who have followed the Marvel comics, you do realize that Spider-Man has had his moments too. When an alien life form in the way of Venom came calling, he too changed his ways. He too temporarily adopted the dark side. He too became full of himself until he was shown the right way. until he was shown that his actions have real consequences, and with his great power, he must fulfill his great responsibilities. And so he chose to walk away from the venom, irrespective of the amount of power and privileges that life form brought him, and continued his merry ways as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That story resonated with me because I feel his story is somewhat all of our stories. We all come from different backgrounds. Some of us have a few privileges, but at the same time, for the most part, we've led ordinary lives. And at some point in our life, we've gotten a golden opportunity. In my case, it was the teacher who gave me the chance to stand before an audience on a stage for the first time and occupy it with great aplomb. That day, I realized that I do have a knack of public speaking. I realized that that is my superpower. And immediately, I was excited. I wanted to share that power, show off, literally make the world my oyster. But I realized that my power could be used for great benefit as well. It could be to help my school win championships in a debate competition. It could help resurrect my Toastmasters club, and I chose that path. There have been many an opportunity where I too have fallen on the dark side, where perhaps I have used my superpowers in a manner in which it's not meant to help someone, but to just show off, just to show my massive skill and bask in the glory of that skill set. And in doing so, I have plateaued, wherein when you think you're the best, when you think you have everything under the power of your arms, you don't improve. People take a few steps ahead of you, go further on. And that's when you realize that with great power comes great responsibility. You got to constantly be working on yourself. You got to be constantly be putting your powers to good work, and as a consequence, you can create good outcomes out of it. So the perfect superhero is not this unfallible alien, Superman, who rises up to the sky, alive to any competition, any threat that humanity can bring before him. The perfect superhero is someone who realizes that while they are special, they have their limitations. While they can do great things, their great powers can be used for bad as well. And therefore wear that weight of responsibility with absolute humility. That is the perfect superhero. Thank you.